welcome to yet another episode of Hoop Room at Hoopsters, the League of Action Heroes. As you're aware, we try our best to address topics that are relevant and provide answers to the questions that many of you are seeking but are afraid to ask. We take great pride in the fact that we bring to you domain experts who have been there and done that, for we believe that there is no substitute for experience. And there's a lot to learn from them. Today we are discussing a very interesting topic, in pursuit of the Indian dinosaurs. It's a Hoopsters League of Action Heroes special. We have with us Dr.Debajit Datta, Paleontologist and Ph.D. graduate, IIT Kharagpur. He talks about fossils and what they tell us about the history of the Earth, with India in focus. He also talks about paleontology as a career and how one can pursue it. Thank you, Debajit, for coming on the show. And like the first question I ask everybody who comes on the show is, why did you agree to get on the show?
Yes. So, hello everyone, and I wish you all a very good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. So yes, now coming to your question about why I agreed, well, I believe that Hoopsters gives one a platform to really talk about and present their work, their field to a wider audience, and to really showcase the other avenues where one can choose as a profession rather than the more common ones, which people know of, like the doctors and the engineers. There are also other professions that one can go for. There are also many other interesting aspects or streams that one can follow and make have a professional career out of it. So that is why I chose to come on Hoopsters, because it encourages people with kind of different encourages people from different backgrounds and gives them a platform to speak about their work.
Thank you. Okay, let's get the basic questions out of the way. Okay?
Yes.
The first question is, what is paleontology?
Well, if we literally take the word paleontology, it means the study of ancient organisms. Now, to explain what paleontology is, well, it is a branch of science that deals with the history of life on Earth. It studies the different types of plants and animals that had appeared on Earth since its beginning, many of which are or rather most of which are no longer a part of our present day ecosystem. So paleontology gives people an opportunity to study those extinct organisms and to have a sneak peek into an ancient part of our Earth, which we no longer can revisit in a certain way, which is no longer around us. So that is what paleontology is.
Okay, now we have a lot of young students here, children here, okay, who have come to this show, which is very, very fascinating to see the interest there. I think the word dinosaur excited them.
Yes.
So why do you think all these children who are watching your show, what do you think they can learn from the next 1 hour? What is it interesting for them? What is there for them on the show?
Well, firstly, they can learn about what paleontology is, to have a very simple understanding of what this discipline is, of what this part of science is, whether one can take it up as a career, and what are the fascinating aspects of it. And how, like, if one becomes a paleontologist, then what are the various sorts of, what are the natural wonders that one can, be in awe of, and one can investigate and find out. And for people who are a fan of a bit of detective work, well, it also incorporates a bit of that as well. You can also be a detective in a certain way if you are a paleontologist. Because
that's interesting.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So
okay.
that is
why do children like dinosaurs so much? I mean, every child you see loves dinosaurs, okay? Across the globe.
Well, yes. Even I love dinosaurs. I mean, they are animals to love. I mean, there are many aspects which one can point out that, oh, this is why. Well, firstly, they are majestic. They are magnanimous. I mean, and thanks to Mr. Spielberg, I mean, we have had, a franchisee that's kind of, dedicated to these animals and have made them really very famous and put kind of, dinosaurs in the sense to on the, on the fray, on the spotlight, if I may say. So, and dinosaurs, I mean, the best way to realize, I mean, how magnificent a dinosaur is, to stand underneath a dinosaur skeleton. That's when one realizes, how magnanimous, how magnum these animals were, and how majestic they look. So that is the beauty of a dinosaur. And of course, add to that is the mystery that surrounds them, that how animals which look nothing like what we have now, like a dinosaur looks nothing like, say, a tiger, or an elephant, or any animal that has, that survives now or lived before them, and how they survived, I mean, how they appeared, how they survived. And suddenly, out of nowhere, we don't find them anymore. And also, an interesting fact about, although we say the dinosaurs are extinct, but they are still amongst us. I mean, and when I say among us, it's not something, it's, I mean, I want to say it literally. Literally every day when we are going out, or we are sitting on a balcony, we do see a dinosaur, and that is the birds. They are the only descendants of dinosaurs, and it is amazing how, evolution kind of, from these huge animals, which when they would walk on earth would tremble. From them, they have evolved and reduced to even, the smallest of animals, like the hummingbird. So all of these things intrigue children, and of course people, other adults. And with the movies, of course, I mean, media has kind of, caught it. I mean, the movies have caught media's attention. And of course, dinosaurs, I mean, they project dinosaurs in a certain way which is captivating.
Yeah, very interesting is said, from a huge gigantic
Yes.
creatures to a small little hummingbird.
Yes.
It's an absolute spectrum of how things are changed. Okay?
Yes, of course.
So, what according to you made those dinosaurs of the yesteryears so huge?
Well, there are many causes or many aspects that one can, focus, or one can pinpoint. Firstly, whenever any group of organism, they start to become comfortable, or they start to dominate the environment they are in, the first sign, or one of the signatures, is they start growing in size, because they have space and they can extract all the nutrition they can from the surrounding environment. So the importance also, when dinosaurs first started to appear, they appeared around 237 million years ago. That is the Triassic. So they were very
Could we
small
have
animals.
Sachi, could we switch off your audio, please? Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So when dinosaurs, as I was saying, when they first appeared, they appeared around 237 million years ago. So the time period is known as the Triassic. And when they appeared, they were very small. They were small, animals running around the bushes and hiding, because there were other larger animals in the fray which were dominant. But as nature would have it, the environmental conditions changed, and they tipped the scales in favor of these dinosaurs, because these dinosaurs, the early dinosaurs, they were very fast, nimble-footed animals, something like, in the Jurassic Park movies, the scientists are always chased by these very small animals called velociraptors. They're always chasing them. One of them is named Blue, if if people have seen those movies. And these dinosaurs were much smaller than them. They used to stand on two legs, and they were very nimble-footed, fast animals. So when you are fast, when you have razor sharp teeth, when you have two hands which are free, like all animals we know are four-legged, so they can't really use their hands in a certain way like we can. But dinosaurs were bipedal. They had only two legs. They used to stand on two legs, and their hands were free. So all of these kind of, allowed these animals to quickly adapt and dominate the environment which was changing. It was becoming drier, hotter. and there were large stretches of land on which these animals could run. So when you have vast vacant spaces to run like the cheetah, and you are nimble footed, then it gives you a big evolutionary advantage. So that is how they beat other animals to the race, and suddenly the competition was gone. The entire earth literally was, for them, all the natural ecosystems, the jungles, the open forests, everything was for them. And so they, became comfortable. They were able to extract all the nutrition that was there from the environment, and that really allowed them to grow large, because now you have the best of food, you have the best of space. So when you have that, then you really start to become, huge and large. You spread, in the sense.
There's also a study somewhere which said they were very huge because there was more oxygen on Earth those days. Is there any truth to it?
Well, these, I mean, there are, I mean, some studies, but the theory which is really considered is that because they had because they had literally no competition in a certain way, that really allowed them to grow large. In the sense, I mean, we can, have look at an analogy. Say we are sitting in a car, on the back seat of a car. Say we have three people are sitting. So everybody will be crouched up, sitting close together. Okay. Now, the moment I take away two people, the person who's sitting inside, that person can, spread his or her arms, sit comfortably. So in a certain way, that person is taking more space. Suddenly the space occupied by that person increases. So we can use that analogy to see how dinosaurs became really large. When you have no competition, when you don't have to share anything with someone, then suddenly you start to, become large, use the space. It's all to you. You can lie down on the seat, you can, really spread and have the entire three-seater to yourself. So we can use this example as how dinosaurs would, really grow large.
What can we learn from the dinosaurs? Okay, they're big creatures, very cute creatures, lots of varieties, all that is fine. Yes. But what does one learn from the dinosaurs?
Well, there is something very important to learn about them, and that is about life. That no matter how powerful you go, no matter how big or, how strong you become, how much you dominate your surroundings, nature is always above you. You have to respect nature. You have to always adapt yourself. You have to be adaptable. You can't, be comfortable, strictly comfortable to your homes and say, oh, I am comfortable in this and I won't, go out and I won't change or something. Because the moment that happens, and that happened to most dinosaurs, the asteroid came hurling down, changed the environment completely for them. And since they were so comfortable in their ecosystem, they, literally had no need to change. They lost their ability to adapt. Suddenly, when things were bad, when the situations turned really bad, they couldn't adapt. So that is the biggest lesson that we can learn from dinosaurs, that no matter how powerful one gets, things, I mean, it takes, a second to change things. And then, I mean, one has to be adaptable to really survive.
How is studying about paleontology and the history of those, that era, help in today's world? Well, see, most of the time people say, okay, how is it useful to me today?
Yes.
That's the reason why most of them don't show interest in any subject, because they don't know how to relate it to their daily life.
Yes. So paleontology has, I mean, paleontology firstly is not only about dinosaurs. There are many other organisms, as I said, which appeared before dinosaurs, which have appeared after dinosaurs. And it's not only about, the large animals that we, read about. There are also very small animals. There are plants which have come, and these are very useful because many of these fossils, as we talk about, say plant fossils, or there are microorganisms called, or microscopic fossils called foraminifera. There are many of them which are associated with fossil fuels. Like if you find those fossils, you may find a coal deposit somewhere. You may find a deposit of natural gas or oil somewhere. So that is economically very important, because you need energy for the world to run. So that is where paleontology really comes in. That if you find those fossils, there is a good chance that you'll find those fossil fuels, you'll find energy sources. So that is one.
Okay,
And
before we go to the next one, what
yes,
is fossil?
okay. Now, fossil, if we go by the definition, I mean, it is the actual remain or the indirect evidence of prehistoric life that is preserved within rocks in a natural condition. So that is what fossils are. They are just the remnants of past organisms.
Rigved, please put the audio off. Thank you. Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead,
so
Rigved.
they are just the remnants of past organisms that have appeared on Earth. They
Do
were
you have any
organic.
photographs of fossils by any chance?
Yeah, I do have photographs of fossils. If you could just,
Can you show the children what it is?
yes. So I hope people can see it. So this is a fossil. This is a fossil of a dinosaur called Boroposaurus teguri, which is present in Kolkata. This is housed at the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. They have a geology museum, a paleontology museum, and they have these wonderful fossils. This is a fully mounted dinosaur. Now,
How big is it?
this is about 57 feet in length. And the fun part is this is just a young individual. This is not an adult. So these animals would have grown much larger. I mean, I have seen the thigh bone of these of this dinosaur, other specimens, and they are, you know, as long as say they are. I mean, as long as say about 6 feet in length. They are close to that. They are that long, and they are massive, huge. So you know, being a young individual, this is around 57 feet in length. Now, it would have gone to much larger proportions. So this is what a fully, you know, a dinosaur skeleton looks like. The name of this dinosaur is Boroposaurus teguri. It has been named after Rabindranath Tagore. And you know, this is one of the earliest dinosaur to be found of the Jurassic time period globally, worldwide. I mean, this is one of the
Tell me one
dinosaur.
thing. Why don't we find find more dinosaurs in India? We only hear of dinosaurs, in the rest of the world.
Yes, well, it's not, I mean, completely true. There are many places from where dinosaurs are found, where, you know, good collections have been made. And the thing is that the thing with, you know, foreign countries, if I may say, is that they probably projected better. They projected they have these natural history museums everywhere, where you know they store these fossils, where they mount them. So it would be really good if we in India had more natural history museums where you know such dinosaur findings, so any other fossil finding could be, you know, preserved, and these could be mounted for the general public to see, because we do have a lot of dinosaur fossils coming from India. It's not that, I mean, it's only restricted to the, say, the West or some other part of the world.
Okay, today everybody talks about being an engineer, a doctor, or
Yes.
a mass comm student, or a filmmaker, or whatever. How did you land up becoming a paleontologist? What's the story behind your journey in
Yeah,
life?
well, I think yeah, the major credit for that has to go to my mother, Dr. Nita Datta, because when I was a child, as a child, she used to bring these encyclopedias and used to show me pictures of you know, dinosaurs, and used to tell me like, look, this is a T-Rex, this is a Triceratops, that's a Diplodocus. So that is how my initial interest grew. And somehow after that, I kind of fell in love with dinosaurs. I mean, I used to study about them, watch documentaries about dinosaurs and other fossil animals on the Discovery Channel and the National Geographic. So this is how my interest really grew. And after that, again, my mother came in with, the idea that if you really have to take paleontology as a profession, you have to first take up geology as your graduation. In your graduation, you have to take up geology, because in India, paleontology is taught as a part of geology. And so that is how my entire career path was, selected and, planned. That, okay, I have to complete my schooling, then take up geology, then, do my graduation, my master's, then my PhD, and then I can become a paleontologist.
What's the life of a paleontologist all about? Today I know if I'm to be an IT professional, I go to office, I sit on the
Yes.
farm. So what's a day of a paleontologist look like? An active practice. I'm not talking of that.
Yes. Well, there are two parts. First is when you are finding a fossil.
And can you show pictures of your activities? Do you have any of those? Of you in the field?
I do have. I'll just have to, just find a few. Just give me a moment. I'll just find a few of them. Wait. Is my screen visible or no? Hello?
Hello, is the screen visible?
Yeah, in the sense what I'm sharing, is it visible or?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. I'll just have to find a few. Just give me a moment.
Okay, any of the audience has got any questions, please type it on the stuff. Please type it on the chat. Can you guys see the screen? Just say yes in the chat if you can. Okay, any questions, please put forward. We will come back to you and get you to ask, ask questions after some time. Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying this talk? Type yes if you are enjoying it.
Okay, so this is what my daily life in the field looks like. Just open in a moment. So everybody, can they see the picture? Hello?
Yeah, they can see it.
Yeah. So this is what a digging looks like. So we have to go to these field areas, these excavation sites, and we literally have to dig the earth, and from there we have to find out the fossils. So that is how, that's like a daily life, a day in the life of paleontologist. We have to go, we have to work in these, I would say the hinterlands of India, and all of these areas there where we go and we, find fossils. We have to look for them day in and day out, and then finally, we can excavate and, we bring out the fossils, which is a very tedious job. We have to always, keep on digging, look for fossils. So this is how, a typical excavation site looks like. That we are digging, we are, just breaking up the rocks, and from there we are excavating the fossils.
So how do you know where to look for? How do you know where to look for the fossils?
Yes. So now the thing is, firstly, we have to know about the type of rock that is there. Now, all rocks don't preserve fossils. There are different categories of rocks, and the only type that preserves fossils are the sedimentary rocks. These form when, say, with rivers or with, by wind, small particles of a rock are blown away or are swept away and deposited somewhere, and slowly, the deposition grows in size, solidifies, and forms a rock. Now, in these sedimentary rocks, one finds fossils. So firstly, we have to know what type of rock it is. Then, of course, we do a lot of literature survey, background study, to know of what age the rock is. Once we know that okay, say this rock is of the Jurassic age. So now we know that, okay, this might have fossils, and it is a sedimentary rock. So once we know that, we go to that particular site. And now, as I said, a lot of detective work. we just start looking for fossils. We know what a fossil looks like. We can differentiate a fossil from any other piece of rock. And we just, put our heads down, look at the earth below, and start looking for, bits and pieces that are sticking out of the soil. And once we find them, then we start digging. We start digging, and once we find the entire fossil, we carefully take it out so that it doesn't break. So this is how one finds a fossil. But of course, it involves a bit of luck as well, because it might happen that, there are a lot of fossil pieces scattered all over the ground, but when you dig, you find nothing. And then again, there might be, very small pieces, sticking out from the mud here and there. And when you, remove the mud, you find an entire skeleton. So
So what is so exciting about paleontologist life? What do you find most exciting? I mean, imagine standing there and digging away for months. Okay.
Yeah.
So where is the excitement?
The excitement is when you find the fossil, when you find these bones. That's the excitement. You find these bones, you take them back, and then it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You sit with the bones.
Somebody not. Can you all have your audios off?
Dave.
Can you have audios please off? Yeah. Yeah, sure. Continue.
Yeah. So the fun part is when you collect these fossils, these bones, you bring them back to your laboratory, and then slowly, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You're slowly joining the pieces, and then slowly but steadily, the entire animal, you're literally recreating the entire animal. And all of a sudden you can, after, a few months of work, you see that the entire animal is reconstructed. Literally, it's in front of you. And these animals are, you can't see them anymore. They are not around you anymore. So that's the most exciting part about finding, about, really trying, sweating it out in the field. And then finally, when you get hold of the fossils and you take them back, you're able to recreate these animals, literally look at them. So that is the most exciting part of the.
Okay, now what is the difference between paleontology and archaeology?
Yeah, so the main difference is with the word prehistoric. Now, archaeology deals with human history. After modern man appeared and its history, whatever is a part of modern man's history, that is archaeology. So you talk about the Indus Valley civilization, the Egyptian civilization, all of these are a part of archaeology. But paleontology deals with the natural world that was before the history of modern man. So all the animals and plants and, the ancestors of modern humans, all of these fall in the category of paleontology. The study of these aspects falls in paleontology. Archaeology deals with everything that is man-made, if I may say, in a very simplified manner. So that's the major difference.
Tell us a bit about the first human skeleton that was found. I think it was called Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy. Yeah, I mean, there have been firstly the problem with human skeleton and human fossils is that mostly they are not preserved. I mean, if we look at the fossil history of humans, it is very disrupted. Then you find something here, then there is a long gap, then you again find another species. So that's the first problem. Now with Lucy is it's an ancient ancestor of modern humans, and it is one of the most complete fossils ever to be found. And it's from Africa, and that kind of really gave scientists, paleontologists, information about how human beings started to walk on two legs. What did they look like? When modern humans did not appear, what did our ancestors look like? What sort of food did they have? So all of these things, what sort of environments did they live in? So all of these things are extremely, informative, which help us learn about our natural history. So that is how Lucy and all these different fossils that have been found are so very important.
Okay, how do you know?
What types of bones were there actually?
Yes.
What type of bones were there of the dinosaur?
Okay, so bones range, bones, I mean, we have found bones, say, from the backbone. We have found complete backbone. We have found arms. We have found legs. We have found ribs. In many cases, we have found teeth and the skull. So, when paleontologists dig, they can find different sorts of bones. Sometimes they find even the entire skeleton.
Okay. How reliable is carbon dating?
Well, if one is trying to look for carbon dating and fossils, well, carbon dating is a very short half-life, and because of that, you can only date fossils which are very recent in age. In the sense, you can date the Pleistocene fossils of woolly mammoth and woolly rhinoceros, all of these. But if you want to date, say, a dinosaur or more older fossils, you can't, because carbon dating does not allow you to. You have to rely on other dating methods.
Like how do you go beyond it? How do you say, okay, it's
Yes.
213 million years?
Yes. So the first thing is, apart from the fact that you have fossils, you also have volcanism taking place. So these are preserved. Whenever there is volcanism, the end product is the lava comes up. The lava erupts, and then it solidifies into a rock. So you can date those rocks. Okay, so from there you can find out about the exact age. Like I'm talking about, say, 237, this particular exact age. From there you can find out. These are some of the methods.
How do you date a rock?
Well, we have to date a rock. Well, again, as in carbon dating, although I'm no expert in dating rocks, as in carbon dating, you use the half-life. The half-life matters. So, like, how much, like, till what amount of time, in what amount of time, half of the atoms or half of the molecules, they decay. So that is the principle of carbon dating or any dating method. So with that one, implements that and uses the minerals that are present in the rocks, and from there they find out what the age of the rock is. So it's a very
what is the error?
complicated method.
What's the error in the whole dating process?
Well, good dating methods can go from, say, plus minus 5 to 10 million years, which in geological time scale is a very short period of time. So yes, so that is the error method.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Debajit.
Thank you.
You are brilliant.